threat. It's causing job loss right now, and the headlines, they tell the story. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, on Wednesday released a study that found that artificial intelligence can already replace 11.7% of the U.S. labor market, or as much as 1.2 trillion in wages across finance, healthcare, and professional services. The New York Times recently reported that Amazon is on the cusp of replacing what would be 600,000 warehouse jobs with robots and plans to automate 75% of its operations. CNBC reporting that Salesforce, Walmart, Paramount, UPS, YouTube, and Meta have all announced new rounds of layoffs attributable to AI, with nearly 1 million job cuts nationwide this year. That's the job loss that we can measure. Now consider what some are predicting about the future. Goldman Sachs estimating that 6 to 7% of the U.S. workforce could be displaced due to AI adoption. They do note, however, that the impact may only be transitory because new opportunities created by AI might ultimately put people to work in other capacities. A report by the McKinsey Global Institute finding that AI could displace 40% of American jobs due to automation by 2030. That analysis found that robots and AI agents could automate more than half of U.S. work hours, both manual and cognitive, using technology that's available today if companies redesigned how they'll do things in the future. The World Economic Forum projecting that 92 million jobs worldwide may be displaced by 2030. Ford's CEO saying that AI could replace half of all white-collar workers there. NYU professor Scott Galloway predicting that AI will hit middle management first, noting that 6% dropped in managers at public companies since 2022. So here we are, AI eliminating jobs, more automation coming. If millions of people lose work, how will they support themselves? This is where an idea from the 2020 presidential campaign returns to the conversation. Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The concept, pretty straightforward. Every American adult would receive a set check each month. For Cook County, Illinois, which includes Chicago, this concept just became reality. The Cook County Board of Commissioners unanimously approved its 2026 budget proposal just this month. It includes $7.5 million for a guaranteed basic income program. Commissioners approved it after the success of a pilot program, where the county provided $500 a month to 3,200 households over 2 years. Survey findings based on that pilot revealed that 94% of the program recipients used the funds to address financial emergencies. 75% reported feeling more financially secure. 70% said that the program had a positive impact on mental health. Of course, there's the question of how do you pay for it? In the case of Cook County, as a result of the decrease in commercial real estate values, everybody's property taxes are now sky high. In Chicago, rising 16.7%, the largest jump in at least 30 years. West Garfield Park saw an increase of 133%, North Lawndale 99%, Englewood 82.5%. And there's pushback from the Illinois Policy Institute, which cites concerns about workforce and income effects. Quote, Cook County is making its guaranteed income pilot permanent and committing millions to a failed strategy already shown to leave people with less work experience and lower earnings.
So let me give you the truth on what this is, right? Somebody said, Anton, is this a form of communism? It's a form of socialism for sure. Communism is a little bit more extreme because now you're talking about regimes, you're talking about leadership. There's other factors that go into it. Socialism, yes, it is, because you're basically giving the government permission to manage our money and resources, which they've never, ever been able to do so successfully. And you're basically taking the power of people out of the hands of people and giving it into the federal government and the local government to try to subsidize your living expenses by placing extra taxes that is not going to be placed on the business. It is going to be placed on property owners, income, so on and so forth. And so you basically get an environment where we paying for our own subsidized living, similar to social services now. That's all it will be, is a form of social services. And people think that this is what they really want and what they really gonna sign up for. You basically remove your ability to get rich. You remove your incentive to innovate. You remove your ability to really be able to do anything great, okay? So here's the caveat to that. Here's the backstory, and this is what my based off of all of the reporting and insight and understanding in the business and climate and talking to different leaders and having conversations with people, AI will not replace workers. AI will disrupt industries, but just like every single technological advance and leap, it will not completely remove people's ability to earn. And let me explain. When the computer first came along, they said that it was going to completely replace all workers. It didn't. What it did is it shifted workers to completely different industries. Automation, before that, they said the same thing. It didn't. It created other jobs and it shifted people into new industries. Let me explain. When cars were first invented, soon after came the assembly line because they wanted to produce cars in mass. And people said that they didn't want cars because they only wanted horses. And it would basically disrupt the industries and the farming and the horses and all of this stuff. And it would kill jobs and everybody would be going poor and it would be in a poorhouse. Well, what it did was it created new jobs where the assembly line, followed by people migrating up to the north so that they can get all of these plant jobs. And there was new industry, roads was built, infrastructure, tax dollars, more revenue was generated for the United States of America than ever before. Then we started to get into robotics, automation, innovation, technological advances. And so the need for as many people that were working in the steel mills and were doing roads and building cars and all of this stuff, it started to dwindle. But what happened was you created new industries because now you had developers and you needed more structure and infrastructure, and we needed more technological advances and blue collar workers, and we started to get more into the understanding of financing, and banking was innovated, right? Rocket Mortgage, the owner, Dan Gilbert, once the internet came along, he then changed how you applied for a mortgage because it used to be going into a facility, labor intensive, and it used to be all of these different people, underwriters, and all of these things that then required for you to have to deal with these people, but the industry was disrupted. And so what did that do? It created a new industry where you then were able to go into different fields and innovation continued to move along. And it's the same thing with the computer. It's the same way with the internet. What did the internet do? It leveled the playing field so that we didn't just have 4, 5, 6 channels, and cable wasn't just a big thing. Cable companies died. Hollywood is now contracting. But what did it do? It gave rise to individual content creators, and it opened up the world for a new possibility of innovation, which then is leading us to where we are now, right? And so my point is that when one industry is disrupted or a different industry is disrupted, it then gives rise and new opportunities to new industries. And then we create entirely new places where we need more workers. Never in a million years did I think that me becoming a vlogger and just vlogging my life would lead to me having a team of 20 plus people that I both work with on camera and people that I work with off camera, right? Now I am in a space where I am hiring more people as a small business owner, and almost everybody is making a crazy amount of money. My editors make $100,000 a year. My point, and guess what we use to innovate and push forward the agenda and enhance our projects? We use AI to simplify some of our workflows. We bring in camera people, we hire different contractors, right? I have now become a builder and I'm innovating in that realm and stuff like that. So new jobs, new opportunities, and then there are some industries that will just be enhanced and won't be disrupted at all. You are still going to need electricians. We're short on electricians. We're short on the jobs. If you go over to Ford Motor Company right now, and I went over there and I talked to the Innovation Center, I talked to some people that worked in the Innovation Center, they are short on people that actually are capable of doing a lot of the jobs that they have available, starting off at $134,000 an hour. I mean, a year, right? Starting at $134,000 a year. I know a guy that just moved into this building and he just got hired. He moved from where he was because it was such a huge demand for automation. You're talking about new infrastructure projects. They're testing up at the University of Michigan. We just had the first electrified street, right? Where they're now going to be doing new infrastructure projects that allow for you to charge while you're driving down the street, because that solves for some of the infrastructure issues that Biden tried to get along with when he passed that infrastructure deal, but it didn't lead to anything except for a whole bunch of people stealing money, right? There's a lot of new industries that we don't even know of, right? AI is not going to replace people. It's going to enhance what we already are doing. So as new jobs or certain jobs go away, especially some of the jobs that y'all don't care for, farming is now going to be more innovative. Physical AI, where you don't need people to go inside of the warehouses and do certain things, and you have a high turnover rate, right? It is going to innovate industries and things that make our jobs easier and quicker for us to move faster and innovate and create new jobs. I don't believe, yes, you're going to need plumbers. Yes, you're going to need HVAC technicians. I don't believe that AI is there to completely replace workers. I believe that it disrupts industries. I believe that a lot of companies are lying and trying to act like they're laying off because of AI. None of these companies are that innovative enough to actually lay off because of AI yet. Zero. Somebody said, I don't support AI as replacing humans. That's like saying I don't support computers because they replace humans. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, if you don't support AI because it's replacing humans, then that means don't pick up a phone. You do. You just don't even know it. Listen, most of y'all that say what y'all ain't gonna do, you already doing it. You fucking watching me on an AI device right now and you don't even know it. You absolutely do. Listen, you're not cool. You're not innovative. You're not doing anything unique. You're not awesome. You're not going against the machine. Nigga, you very much in it just like everybody else. Y'all be acting like y'all so awesome. You said, why would they lie? Who is they? These are all people that are predicting. That's all they doing is predicting. You know what an analyst is? An analyst tries to predict what a company is going to do before it does it so that it can capitalize off of it. Everybody be trying to act like, oh, I'm so cool, I'm going to go analog. You know what else I think it's going to do? It's going to create greater experiences for people that want in-person physical experiences. I know of several record pressing shops that recently opened here in Detroit within the last few years because vinyl is starting to blow back up again. In-person experiences, going to the actual shows and the concerts are booming right now. Physical buttons, those are the new luxury items. Analog, right? Actual physical, handmade, handcrafted things are the new wave now. And I can't predict everything, obviously, because it's a lot that I don't know that's happening behind the scenes and stuff like that also. But the point that I'm making is that all we doing is just seeing the evolution. People are just pushing so fast to try to move over to AI and innovate everything. That's because they want to over innovate everything. And I think that a lot of these companies, in order to escape actually having to be accountable for whether or not they're running their company good or not, they blame it on AI. Hey, we gotta lay people off because we're innovating with AI. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're just trying to add value for the shareholders. And it's easy to just blame everything on AI. I don't see it. I personally don't see it. They've been predicting that technology was going to be, bro, when I was a little kid, when I was in elementary school, and they said, what year are you going to graduate in? And I said, I'm graduating in 2000. Oh, by then, technology will replace everybody. We're going to have flying cars like the Jetsons. And we still ride on good old tires, nigga. We ride on regular tires where I'm from. You know what they still buying? Buick Regals, Caprice Classics, Cutlass Supremes, Monte Carlos. Nigga, they still love them cars. And they going for a premium now. Oh, they're going to do that? Man, they're not going to do nothing. It's just going to be more money, more opportunity, and more more ways for you to capitalize. That's it. And they want 10K. Facts. And they want 10K for them. So here's the real thing that we need to have a conversation about. The real question that you need to ask yourself is, how can you cash in and capitalize off of the innovation? We're asking ourselves the wrong questions. The questions we should be asking ourselves is, where do I fit in? Where do I capitalize? Let me tell you another thing that I think is going to happen. I think that more people are going to start becoming more interdependent on themselves and their communities. And if you know how to market for your specific area of service, then you're going to be as good as gold. We used to have a time back in the day where the community was dependent on itself. That people created the jobs that they wanted. People created the industries that they wanted to be a part of. You had the meat man, the bread man, this man, that man. I think that we're going to start moving more into small businesses, and people are going to start sustaining and creating jobs for themselves. One thing that we're not taking into consideration, humans are very, very, very resilient. We're innovative, we're resilient, and as long as we keep an environment where we stay away from socialism, then we'll continue to innovate and we'll still be creating opportunities for ourselves. We do need to get back to entrepreneurship. We do. And so, for example, I'm not a part of the regular workforce anymore. I retired, whereas I could have, think about it like this. I'm one of many people that could be still working in corporate America. That is a job, that is a position. And if I was in corporate America, I would probably be doing 2 jobs. That is 2 jobs that I would be taking up. But instead, I decided to let 2 jobs be available for other people. And then I decided to create 50 more. And not only did I create 50 jobs that's within my companies, but I also have those 50 jobs then create and pour into the economy. And a lot of people then become interdependent on the different companies that I help create jobs for. So if I, for example, am building houses and I'm regularly scaling up because I'm doubling my production of the houses that I build every single year, I'm creating jobs. That is why I say I don't want to leave my community. I don't want to leave Detroit and Metro Detroit. Why? Because we are a part of the economy. The more that I pour into the economy, the more productive we are, the more jobs that we offer, the more businesses sustain, the more restaurants that open, the more tickets get sold, the more opportunities are available, the more goes into the economy, the more the infrastructure grows, the greater we become. That's why I won't leave my city.